Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. Just so we get out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Alright, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before we come out. And your Boston Celtics beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 119 to 108 earlier today. And the Cleveland Cavaliers switched everything 1 through 5. And the Celtics did a lot of good things on offense to take advantage of that switching defense. So here it looked like they were going to go to Spain PNR, but you see Sam Hauser sets that ghost screen right there, and then he knocks down the three. Alright, so Spain pick and roll, which we run a lot, most of you know, is an on-ball screen and then a back screen on the on-ball screener's man. So it looks like this setup is going to happen. But again, against the switching defense, it was very tough to actually run this action. So the Celtics would just parlay it into different things. So as Kata sets that screen, gets a switch on Sam Merrill, right? And Evan Mobley is a great defensive player, but would you rather go at him on the perimeter or at the rim? Probably the perimeter. So when Sam Hauser sets this goal screen, one thing Evan Mobley probably isn't great at is navigating ball screens or like navigating through space, right? So Sam Hauser is going to set that goal screen right there, and as they're supposed to switch, Evan Mobley's able to get out to Hauser. All right, so something the Celtics did a ton in this game is have the Jays as screeners and low angle pick and rolls and different type of pick and rolls to take advantage of the switching and get smalls on them and get into the post and stuff like that. So Tatum's gonna set screen right here on the low angle pick and roll. It's an empty corner, so we don't have anybody helping right there. And very simple, Tatum gets a switch of Sam Merrill, puts him all the way down to the block and hits a fadeaway. All right, here again, we got a J against a small defender right there. Donovan Mitchell is front of post, so post entry pass has to be up and over right there so he doesn't steal it. So he lobs it up, and with Evan Mobley coming over right here to try to help Donovan Mitchell, and that means somebody or multiple people are in cover 2 situations. So Taran is definitely in a cover 2 situation with Hauser and Derek White in the corner. Nomi's Kate is setting the screen on his former college teammate Sam Merrill with Evan Mobley coming over, right? And we had Dean Wade just on Jason Tatum. As the play rolls, Jaylen Brown's going to puncture defense a little bit more, draw people in, and James Harden all the way off of Sam Hauser, and he hits a 3. All right, here we have an early offense flare here by Nomi's Kate for Derek White. He's going to flare out this way, and Jason Tatum just being aggressive and even looking like he's about to drive is going to draw multiple defenders on most possessions. Here, a great pass to Derek White, and he dunks it. All right, so here again, Tatum as a screener, he's going to tell Sam Hauser to clear out so this can be empty corner. He sets the screen right there. They switch. He spins really quickly. Now, I've just loved the confidence in his body that he's shown. He's still hesitating just a little bit, but on a lot of these moves, he's just doing it really decisively, and his body's responding well here through contact against Evan Mobley. All right, so the Celtics go to Horns point for Jaylen Brown. I believe the first time I saw this was against Milwaukee in the Founders Day game, but I saw Joe Mazzulla call it, and I've been liking it ever since. So here we're going to have the play enter into Luka Garza, and it's just a wide pin down for Jaylen Brown, but it's important that a guard is setting the screen right. So especially with a smaller guard and then a shooter, right? Two things can happen. They can switch, which we know that Cleveland is doing. So this is again attacking their switching defenses, but against other teams, but either the switch, of course, or the guard is going to be reluctant to switch onto Jaylen Brown, which means that if this is a good screen, this guy is going to be late to get to Jaylen Brown, and he can easily curl this and get an open mid-range. But of course, what Cleveland was doing, they were switching everything, right? So then the shooter comes out on Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown just rises over top him for the and 1. All right, so just good recognition by everybody. You see Luka Garza is pointing right there. Then you're going to see Joe Mazzulla over here. He's going to tell Ugo to screen, right? They have Thomas Bryant on Ugo Gonzalez, right? So he's going to set this goal screen right here. And Thomas Bryant is probably not the most adept at getting out right there onto shooters and guarding the perimeter. So he's going to do what a center is going to do, is react to somebody driving. Pass goes to Ugo. One more to Jaylen Brown. He knocks it down. All right, so we just have a really good play here by Luka Garza. He's going to set a Gortat screen so Derek White can get an easy layup. So a Gortat screen is kind of like a seal, but it's usually in a pick and roll offense against a drop defender. So when the big sets a screen, the guy that's dropping, he's probably going to try to impede the path of the offensive player going to get the layup. Big is going to set the screen on that drop defender. But the Cavaliers switch, right? And we see that Evan Mobley is behind Luka Garza here, right? But Luka Garza is going to look and see that Derek White is driving to the basket. We know Evan Mobley is a good rim protector, so we just rather not go against that. And Luka Garza is going to do a nice job of screening Evan Mobley, just stopping right there so he can't get to Derek White, but then he takes out both Evan Mobley and Dean Wade. Great job layup by White. All right, sure, we got a good player moving by the Celtics, getting Baylor Shyman in open corner 3. All right, so I remember the Celtics doing this earlier in the season against Chicago, and it just makes the baseline cutters defender have to make a decision, right? So here we're going to have get action with Derek White. Get action is just when somebody passes the ball to a big to immediately get the ball back, right? So Derek White gets the ball back. But as this is happening, right, so right before Kata sets a screen and he rolls, Shyman is going to switch corners and he's going to cut baseline as the Miz Kata is rolling to the basket. So if we get 2 on the ball, right, or we have this defender in drop coverage and Kata gets behind this guy, right? Shaman cutting to the baseline while this is happening is super important, because now it forces Shaman's man to either tag Kata's roll or go out to Shaman. And whichever one he does, the Celtics do the opposite, right? So as Kata's rolling, he tags, so he takes away Kata. That means that Baylor Shaman is open. A great pass by Derek White. All right, so we didn't scroll off this play, but I want to see this a lot more. Gets Jaylen Brown an open three. All right, so there's a similar play that we ran against the Mavericks that I detailed in the Tatum video, but it starts with Kata setting this back screen right for Derek White. He's going to cut off this. All right, so as Kata sets this back screen, watch the opposing big on this, right? So as Kata sets his back screen, he sets a good screen, and Sam Merrill's going to fight over this one, right? But as Derek White's going to cut, you're going to see Thomas Bryant, so Derek White doesn't get an open layup, he's going to back up off of Kata to defend this cut, right? And Kata immediately gets into a pin down for Jaylen Brown. So this means that Thomas Bryant is not up right here to be able to help on this if Jalen Tyson gets screened, right? So the back screen takes him away from Kata and into Derek White, into the paint. Immediately we get a pin down. Jaylen Brown gets a wide open three. All right, so here again, attacking the switching defense. Tatum sets the screen, but we're going to enter it a little bit different. So as Tatum sets the screen, right, he gets the switch, right, but Sam Merrill is playing over top, right? So this regular post entry pass is not going to work. We're going to have to lob it over, but we see Evan Mobley is right here creeping off of Kata, so maybe he could get there and try to steal the pass. So we're going to initiate high-low action, right? So as Tatum has this mismatch, Evan Mobley again is creeping over right here. That means Kata's open, so Kata's going to flash right here to the free throw line, initiate this high-low action. Evan Mobley right there is going to come back up to Kata, but it's too late as Sam Merrill had that leverage over top. But when you change the angle of this pass, you get the ball somewhere else. And now Kata has an open pass to Tatum. A great processing speed, great pass by Kata, and we get fouled. All right, so the Celtics go to a play that I haven't seen them use in some time. This is Iverson follow empty. All right, so Iverson, the first part of this is the Iverson cut. So an Iverson cut is when somebody receives two screens along the free throw line. They're usually like right here at the elbows, kind of like horns, but Jaylen Brown is just up right here. Derek White's gonna Iverson cut. So an Iverson cut is when you cut from one wing to another wing with these two screens right here. So he's going to cut all the way over there. And the follow part is Jaylen Brown, who's the first screener. He's gonna follow Derek White right there, and then he's going to screen again. We're trying to get the switches, take advantage of the Jay's size and skill, and get them to get smaller guys in post-up area, right? So again, this is empty corner right here. So Iverson follow empty, right? The Iverson cut, Jaylen Brown follows, and then the empty pick and roll. So we send Jaylen Brown right there. He screens, gets Sam Merrill on him. I want Jaylen Brown to attack right here, but this is an open shot for Jaylen Brown. All right, so we have another instance of the Celtics taking advantage of the Cavaliers switching with the Jays as screeners. I said the Celtics go to double get. Remember them going to this versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Double get, right? So again, we saw get action earlier is just when somebody passes to somebody to immediately go get the ball back, right? But the double, of course, is the two screens. So one by Tatum, one by Kata. They initiate the get action. Derek White passes, goes to get it back. Kata sets a screen. He has Sam Merrill on him. So what that means is that he's going to put him on his back right there and try to get a bucket. Now, I want Tatum to attack this, especially with Evan Mobley right there. So we got the switch. Like, it was three switches on this play. Tatum got the switch for Sam Merrill. James Harden is now in the miss Kata. He rolls, and Evan Mobley, the rim protector, is out on the perimeter. So I would have loved for Tatum to put Merrill into the basket or under the basket, but we've seen Tatum make this shot over small defenders before. I see the Celtics go to Ram goes to get Jaylen Brown an open driving lane. All right, so K is going to set this wide action screen so Jaylen Brown can get the ball at the top of the key and we can initiate the play from there. So he sets the screen, but then immediately gets into the Ram action. So Ram action is an off-ball screen for somebody to go set a ball screen. K is going to set this off-ball screen for Sam Hauser, and he's going to set this on-ball screen. This on-ball screen can either be a regular screen or a ghost screen, but this play, of course, is a ghost screen because it's called Ram Ghost. Now, when Sam Hauser comes up to set this ghost screen, about 95% of the possessions Cleveland was switching, right? But there was still some uncertainty on some plays, right? So as Sam Hauser comes to set the ghost screen, Dean Wade is preparing to switch this, right? So he jumps to the left side of Jaylen Brown, right? But Donovan Mitchell has some hesitancy, as you can see right there, and that just opens up Jaylen Brown. He goes to the opposite side of Dean Wade, and he gets an and one. All right, here we got another Sam Hauser ghost screen, just completely obliterating two Cavaliers. Sam Hauser with the ghost screen gets Peyton Pritchard mid-range. All right, so something I noticed in this game and the last game against the Mavericks on Friday was The Celtics have used veer screens a lot this season. The early offense screens, if you've been around my channel, you've heard me talk about the early offense screens a lot. The flare screens, the veer screens, and the wide action, right? So what the Celtics have been doing with the veer screens, right? A veer screen is when the big fakes like they're going to set an on-ball screen, then they go sprint into an off-ball screen. Almost exclusively this season, the veer screens by the Celtics have been wide pin down. So they will fake the on-ball screen and they get into a wide pin down for somebody in the corner. But in these last 2 games, they've been doing the veer screens for wide action. So you see Kata is going to take 1 step up and he fakes. And you see what that does to the opposing big. It gets them lagging behind, right? Thomas Bryant is still sitting like Kata's about to set this on-ball screen. But again, they use it to go to wide action in these last 2 games. So I thought that was an interesting wrinkle. So we got Jaylen Brown going to the top of the key. Looks like the Celtics are going to go to Ram Ghost once again. Kata runs to set the on-ball screen. Sam Hauser being top locked, but he eventually gets through to get up to Jaylen Brown to set the screen. But you see what Jalen Tyson is doing, right? You see the angle he's playing Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown just drove right on Dean Wade, so he shades to his right hand, so he's going to go left because he has one of those. Thomas Bryant's going to collapse. Keon Ellis sees that Jaylen Brown has his back turned to him, so he tries to attack, but Sam Hauser gets a 3. All right, should we just have some phenomenal passes by Jaylen Brown? So they're going to go to horn stagger. Of course, horns is 2 people at or near the elbows of the free throw line. So Derek White's on the elbow. Jaylen Brown came off of the elbow to get the ball right there. So get the ball in a pinch post right here. The stagger is 2 of the same off-ball screen set with just a little bit of space in between them. So 1 screen here by Pritchard and 1 screen there by Derek White with the space in between them. But again, we talked about the Cavaliers switching, right? So everything's being switched. So Baylor Shyman isn't able to come off both of these screens and get up there. So he's going to reject it. He's going to cut. And you see this switch pocket that's open, right? So Derek White is supposed to be the second screener, right? And he's just looking to see what's going to happen. He can't screen anybody because there's nobody near him, right? There's nobody right next to him. So he sees how open this is and he just cuts, right? Jaylen Brown with the left hand is going to pass it right there to Derek White. He gets it out to Luka Garza. We get right back into a pick and roll. Jaylen Brown, aggressive pick and roll defense. Luka Garza is open on the roll. Jaylen Brown gets it, but we just don't score. I shared another great lefty pass by Jaylen Brown with Neemias Queta right here close to the paint. Evan Mobley, of course, is going to try to help on everything, right? So as Jaylen Brown drives baseline, Evan Mobley is going to come over there, but that means that somebody has to pick up Queta, which is Dennis Schroeder in this case. But then that also means somebody has to pick up his man and Baylor Shyman, and nobody is able to do that right there. But Jaylen Brown, great lefty pass right there. And for it to have the velocity right there, for the pass not to hit out of bounds on a bounce right there, just a great pass and a shot by Shyman. And man, how did we get so lucky to get 2 big wings who can make high-level passes for their teammates, draw defense and make high-level passes? So again, Tatum right there is going to do the rocker step right there. He's going to fake baseline. He's going to drive into the middle of the paint. You see all the bodies on him. And somebody tell me what this pass is. Like, what is that? Dean Wade comes off the corner off of Sam Hauser, who's a premier shooter in this league, right? Jalen Tyson's guarding him. Keon Ellis comes down, right? And he just makes a behind the back, like no look, true no look behind the back to Sam Hauser. He just doesn't hit the shot. I see for the last play, Celtics go to Horns chest. Again, Horns, 2 people at or near the elbows of the free throw line. They're going to elevate right here to get into the chest. Chest action is an on-ball screen. And then that player that sets the on-ball screen goes out to receive a flare screen. This on-ball screen can either be a ghost screen or regular screen, but just after that, they go receive a flare screen. So he sets a screen, flare screen here by Neemias Queta. Jaylen Brown's going to cut to the basket off this right there to clear for the PNR, right? So we got the screen, and Queta gets out of this really, really quickly, right? And it's desperation mode for the Cleveland Cavaliers, down now for 2 minutes, so they're going to play this really aggressively. Super great job by Payton Pritchard, staying patient right here, fighting through it, not turning the ball over. And Queta, great job by Queta, making the defense make a decision. You see Donovan Mitchell goes over to Tatum, but he plays in between, right? So Queta drives all the way to him completely. Donovan Mitchell comes off of Jason Tatum. Now the pass, great job by Nemi, good shot by Tatum. But that is the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can, just so we can get out there a little bit more. Now we'll see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.